Singombe Edgar, representing the people of Dundumwezi in Kaloma Southern Province. You're welcome.
Honorable Dr. Mwanza.
Afternoon, Chair and MBALA. Welcome to your committee. I'm Honorable Dr. Aaron Mwanza, Member of Parliament for Kaumbwe constituency in Petago District of the Eastern Province. Thank you.
Mitete.
Chair, good afternoon. Grateful unto you. MBALA, your humble servant, Mutelo, Mishek MP Mitete. Humble.
Thank you. And sitting in for the substantive chair, my name is Elliot Kamondo. I'm a Member of Parliament from Mfumbwe constituency and a member of this committee. CS, you're welcome to your committee. And you're aware that when you sit before this parliamentary committee, you also enjoy the same immunities that we enjoy according to Cap 12 of the laws of Zambia, that the information that you are going to tender before this committee should be factual. And however, if you decided to mislead this committee, the same Cap 12 will be dealt against you. But I know that you are aware and you have been doing this for some time. So you can start your submission. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Allow me to present additional information.
You're welcome. You can.
Thank you, sir. So this is for appendices 4, 6, 7A, and 7B, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you. Do you have any other information that you may wish to bring to the attention of the committee, or this is the only information?
It's just a correction, Chair.
Okay.
That is on page 2.
Honorable colleagues, page 2.
Yes, that is appendix 2.1.
Okay.
Under cause of query, funds mopped in February 2024, not 2025, Chair.
2024 and not 2025?
Yes.
Okay.
I can now move to the
Honorable colleagues, you are with the CS 2024 and not 2025 on the appendix 2.1. Okay, you can go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Audit of management and utilization of 2024 CDF allocation. Audit findings. Cross-cutting audit findings.
Yes.
Appendix 1, budget and findings and funding. Management response, cause of query. The auditor's observations are acknowledged, and management wishes to report that the variance arose due to the council receiving 2024 CDF allocation that was less than the budgeted allocation. Action taken. Management wishes to report that the council has constantly been engaging the ministry over the unremitted balance of the 2024 CDF allocation. Chair, we have Appendix 1 speaking to that. Remedial measure. Management wishes to report that the council will continue engaging the ministry so that the remaining balance of the 2024 CDF allocation is remitted. Appendix 1.1, retained funds. Cause of query. The auditor's observations are acknowledged, and management wishes to report that the retained funds were meant for the centrally procurement of an ambulance and 2 chief retainers' motorbikes, out of which the ambulance had been delivered while delivery of the motorbikes had not been delivered at the time of the audit. Action taken. Management wishes to report that the 2 motorbikes that were not delivered at the time of the audit were delivered on 20th August 2025 to Chief Mwamba and Chief Fambo's palaces. We have Appendix 2 speaking to that. The remedial measure, Chair. Management wishes to report that the Council will always ensure that centrally procured projects are timely implemented or delivered to enable the intended beneficiaries access the services from them. Appendix 2.1, total unspent funds, community projects. Cause of query. The auditor's observations are acknowledged and management wishes to report that the unspent funds were actually negative 2,027,323 after 2,344,161 was mopped in February 2024, as shown in the table below. Action taken. Management wishes to report that although there was an over-expenditure against the actual available funds under community project component as at 31st December 2024, the same was financed using available funds from other components of the CDF allocation with a view to reimburse the funds when the community projects component receives its allocation. This was as per guidance issued through the Ministerial Circular number MLGRD 101/22/74 dated 27th April 2023 that guided local authorities to use any available funds to finance any CDF retained related activity as long as the disbursements made fall within the component's budgeted allocation. So we have appendices 1 and 3 speaking to that. Remedial measure. Management wishes to report that the Council will continue pursuing the Ministry so that the mopped funds are remitted back to the account. Appendix 2.2, total unspent funds, empowerment grants. Cause of query. The auditor's observations are acknowledged and wishes to report that negative 1,343,000 was as a result of disbursing more funds than what the Ministry remitted under the component. The Council had to use available funds under other components. Action taken. Management wishes to report that there was an over-expenditure under the component due to the underfunding experienced under the component during the 2024 financial year. However, other successful applicants were paid from unspent funds of other available funds as guided by the Ministerial Circular number MLGRD 101/22/74 dated 27th April 2023, and the Council has continued to pursue the Ministry over unremitted funds under the component. We have appendix 1 speaking to that. Remedial measure. Management wishes to report that the Council will continue pursuing the Ministry to have the component fully funded. Appendix 2.3, total unspent funds, secondary boarding, skills development. Cause of query. The auditor's observations are acknowledged and management wishes to report that the Council had less eligible bursary beneficiaries than the available funds under the component. Action taken. Management wishes to report that the Council had less eligible skills development and secondary school bursary beneficiaries than available funds. Part of the unspent funds amounting to 3,776,822.76 under the component were varied to the implementation of community projects. The balance of 1,528,182.24 was spent on the unsuccessful skills development and secondary school bursary beneficiaries in the subsequent year. We have Appendix 4 speaking to that. Remedial measure. Management wishes to report that the Council will endeavor to release bursary awards to the successful bursary applicants. Further, Council will intensify sensitization and sensitizing the community to be able to utilize the opportunity of enabling vulnerable learners to access tertiary and secondary school education. Appendix 2.4, total unspent funds. That's under the loan component. Cause of query. The auditor's observations are acknowledged and management wishes to report that the unspent funds were actually 511,294 after 15,500, which was for sale of tender bids documents, was removed since it was not a loan revolving fund related item as shown in the table, Chair. Action taken. Management wishes to report that the unspent funds amounting to 511,294 under soft loans component was part of the loan recoveries made from the loans disbursed under 2022, 2023, and 2024 CDF allocations. The said recoveries were paid out as loans to some of the successful loan applicants in 2025. We have Appendix 5, Chair. Remedial measure. Management wishes to report that the Council will endeavor to utilize the funds on programs for which they are intended. We move to Appendix 2.5, total unspent funds, administrative cost. Cause of query. The auditor's observations are acknowledged and wishes to report that a reconciliation carried out showed that the component had actually negative 1,824,509 as the total expenditure incurred under the component as per audited 2024 financial statements was 3,062,848 as shown in the table below. Action taken. Management wishes to report that the reported expenditure incurred under administrative component relates to the following. That is, under 2022-2023 related activities, we have that amount of 701,322.54, and then under 2024 related activities, including the IDP development related activities, we have that amount of 2 million. And we have motor vehicle insurance covers, which amounted to 344,556. And we have Appendix 6, Chair, speaking to that. Remedial measure. Management wishes to report that the Council will endeavor to work within the budget allocation and ensure that funds received and expenditure incurred thereon are posted to their respective components. Appendix 3, Chair, community projects, management response, work in progress. We have a table, Chair, there. And the first project is construction of Chief's Palace. Cause of query. This was due to non-performance of the contractor. Action taken. The contract for the initial contract was terminated. Then the ministry retendered the project as it was procured centrally. Number 2, maternity annex at Kaka Health Post. This was due to non-performance by the contractor. The Council terminated the contract for the initial contractor called High Tech Agro Vet due to non-performance. Then the Council retendered the project and awarded it to Tengai Enterprise. And then we move to 2024. Mechanized water scheme at Chipoma Primary School. This was due to late award of the contract and action taken. The project has since been completed. We have Appendix 8 speaking to that. Mechanized water scheme at Kaka Health Post as number 2. This was due to late award of the contract. The project has since been completed. And the last one, Itokoto Primary School. This was due to late award of the contract, and the project has since been completed. Outstanding projects. So we have under 2023, rehabilitation of 18.2 kilometers of Kamba Kakungu Isofu Road. Cause of query. At the time of execution of the project, the Council did not have full set of equipment to execute the project. Action taken. The project has since been completed. Under 2024, procurement of ambulance. The said project was procured centrally at the time, and at the time of audit, the council had not received the ambulance. Action taken, the vehicle has since been procured and delivered. Solar street light maintenance. The street lights were vandalized and replacement was delayed due to delay in the procurement process. The street lights have since been procured and replacement of vandalized lights has been done. 3, chief's retainers motorbikes centrally procured by ministry, and at the time of audit, the motorbikes were not procured and delivered. The motorbikes have since been procured and delivered. 4, Mulu Modern Market. The first contract was cancelled due to review and changes of the scope of works. And action taken, the new contractor is on site and works have since commenced. And number 5, rehabilitation of Grasshopper Conference Hall. The allocated amount to the project was not enough to have the project completed. And action taken, the contract was signed and the contractor is on site and works have commenced. Remedial measure, management wishes to report that the local authority will endeavor to expedite project implementation processes as well as planning for the CDF activities. 3.1, analysis of performance of desks. Cause of the query, management acknowledges the auditor's findings and wishes to report that the reported variance of desks yet to be delivered was as a result of the inaccurate data on the number of desks required in the schools submitted by the DEB's office. The council proceeded to draw contracts with suppliers for the supply and delivery of 5,000 desks, which was recommended for approval by the CDFC to the provincial local government officer. However, after a reconciliation, it was established that only 4,400 desks were needed. Action taken. Management wishes to report that the above stated discrepancy was reported to the CDFC. In this regard, the funds meant for the supply and delivery of 600 desks were reallocated to another priority project under the 2024 CDF allocation, namely completion of a 1x2 CRB and ablution block at Safwa Primary School. Remedial measure. Management wishes to report that the council will endeavor to have community projects timely completed. Appendix 6, Chair, Youth and Women Empowerment Grant Performance Analysis. Cause of query. The auditor's observations are acknowledged and management wishes to report that the 333 were paid in amounts totaling 2,331,000, which was higher than the total available funds, thereby incurring negative balance of 1,343,000 under the component as at 31st December 2024. Action taken. Management wishes to report that the council disbursed grants to all the 333 successful empowerment grants beneficiaries using available funds from other components for the CDF allocation with a view to reimburse the funds when the grants component receives its additional funding allocation. Following the Ministerial Circular MLGRD 101-2274 dated 27th April 2023 that guided local authorities to use any available funds to finance any CDF related activity for as long as the same falls within the component's budgeted allocation. Further, management wishes to report that the empowerment grants component of 2023 CDF did eventually receive its allocation and managed to reimburse the funds it borrowed from other components. Remedial measure. Management wishes to report that the council will endeavor to disburse resources within the CDF component's budgeted allocation as per existing guidelines. 6.3, Chair, failure to implement projects grants. Cause of query. The auditor's observations are acknowledged and management wishes to report that the 11 successful applicants for empowerment grants either delayed or unable to implement their projects according to their set out plans, as the funds disbursed to their cooperatives were less than what they had applied for, making it difficult for them to implement their intended project activities. Action taken. Management wishes to report that a number of grant beneficiaries managed to implement their activities using the amounts which were given. Further, the Council conducted financial literacy programs and intensified sensitization and monitoring to enable beneficiaries of the empowerment grants obtain knowledge on how to manage the empowerment funds they accessed. The remedial measure. Management wishes to report that the Council will endeavor to discourage the CDFC from tendency of reducing the amounts applied for, by the cooperatives to enable them successfully undertake their planned activities. Management response. That's 7.2, failure to recover loans. Cause of query. Management acknowledges the auditor's findings and wishes to report that the delay and non-repayments of the loans obtained were attributed to the beneficiaries changing the scope of the projects that were to be funded by the disbursed loans, as the loans were not significant enough to implement intended projects. In this regard, the beneficiaries switched to implementing other projects that did not require a lot of startup capital. Action taken. Management wishes to report that the Council instituted vigorous sensitization campaigns advising the loan beneficiaries to start repaying the loans obtained, including conducting financial literacy programs prior to disbursement of loans. This was to enable the beneficiaries to know how best to utilize the loans intended to them and understand the implications of not repaying the loans. Further, the Council has been monitoring implementation of projects financed by the loans obtained by the beneficiaries. To this end, 9,421,255 that has been disbursed to loan beneficiaries between January 2022 and 31st January 2026, and a total of 1,449,852 is in respect of repayments have been made by the loanees as at 31st January 2026. Remedial measure. Management wishes to report that the Council has instituted rigorous follow-ups on loan repayments. Further, the Council will endeavor to conducting the financial literacy programs and continue undertaking programs of sensitizing the loan beneficiaries on the importance of repaying their loans. The local authority will also continue to undertake monitoring of loan beneficiary projects implementation status. I move to Appendix 8, Chair, Bursary's performance analysis. Management response. Cause of query. Management acknowledges the auditor's findings and wishes to report that a total of 51 applicants under 2024 CDF allocation were rejected by PLGO in that the fees attached to courses the applicants were seeking to pursue were higher than the range of fees for TVETA courses recommended by the Ministry. The list of unsuccessful applicants was shared with WDCs, informing them of the reason for the rejection of the applicants, and they were advised to inform the applicants to reapply in the following year at different learning institutions that offer similar courses whose fees fall within the ministerial stipulated fees ranges. Further, management wishes to report that 108 learners under skills development and 249 learners under secondary school bursaries were yet to graduate and were carried forward to the subsequent academic periods since their courses and grades were running for more than 1 year. Action taken. management wishes to report that the Council does work closely with the WDCs in terms of providing technical advice on eligibility criteria as set out in the CDF guidelines. Further, management wishes to report that the Council undertakes physical verification of the presence of sponsored learners at their respective learning institutions. Remedial measure. Management wishes to report that the Council will endeavor to continue to closely monitor progression of the pupils and students who are under CDF Bursary sponsorship to ensure that the success is recorded among those under CDF Bursary. And then Appendix 11, Chair, failure to obtain ZRI clearance before payments. Cause of query, the auditor's observations are acknowledged, and management wishes to report that this was due to a capacity gap in the process as training was not provided. Action taken, management has since notified ZRA of the payments made to the cited suppliers in order to make recoveries of unpaid taxes due, and going forward, all transactions for contractors and suppliers are being garnished. So we have Appendix 18 there. A remedial measure, management wishes to report that the Council will endeavor to strengthen tax clearance procedure before payments are made. Chair, that ends my submission. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Town Clerk, for that wonderful submission. Honorable members, starting with the Honorable Member for Mitete.
Chair, Town Clerk, thank you very much. Page 7. Page 7, the market, project number 4, Mulu. The first contractor was Avias Link Trading. The sum was 1,583,118. Then you cancelled because there was changes in the scope of work. Then it's now at 6,824,948.71. Where are the new, or where is the new scope of work which necessitated this increase from 1 million to 6 million? Did the first contractor do some works? If they were done, how much was paid to the first contractor? For a start, Chair. Just
Thank you very much, Town Clerk.
Thank you, Chair. The initial project of construction of market, of Mulu market, the scope that was approved earlier was small, and I think it was just 15 by 10 and did not meet the scope, or rather the category of being called a modern market. So members of the community advised that that will not serve the intended purpose. So when we looked at the contract, the conditions in the contract, at least we were fortunate enough that there was a component which required us to revise the scope, which allowed us to revise the scope. And when that was presented to the CDFC, that's what necessitated the the increase from 1 million to a 5, is it 6 million scope.
You're not sure? Can you be reading? We want to get the actuals. Read what is there. The questions are very clear and specific. They need specific answers.
Okay.
You can refer to the director. You are the director of engineering?
Okay.
Switch off your mic, then you will get to engage the director of engineering.
Yes, I'm the director of engineering, but I
Yes.
recently joined in December. I was recently transferred in December. So anything that is related to engineering, the civil engineer will be able to answer.
Can
with,
we have the civil engineer?
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. So as the town clerk already alluded, the first contract was a smaller project, which did not take into consideration the number of marketeers at Mulu market. So when there was this outcry to say this market is too small compared to the number of marketeers who trade from that area, a consideration was made and the issue was taken back to the Constituency Development Fund Committee, which topped up funds, and we were able to have a contract signed at 6.8 million as opposed to the 1.5 that was earlier given.
You didn't get the question. Before I allow anyone, the question was very clear. What was the first scope that was costed at 1.1? What was involving? What was comprising, or for lack of better term? Then the new one, state, the one which would cost or costed the council 6 million. What was involved? What was the scope of works? Just give us the scope of works.
Chair,
Okay, add something, Dr. Singombe. Chair, I just want to add this component. I really agree with the principle that the area market was very small, 10 by 15. But look at the amount, 1.5. When I look at my maternity annex, that does not go up to 1.5, how huge it is. Now you are pushing 1.5 million into a 10 by 15. I thought I should just add that aspect, Chair. Thank you.
Okay. Honorable Mtelo, let us...
Just to put it right, we hear you. Where is that scope of what you are saying in here? Where is the new scope of what you are telling us in here? Where are the minutes of the CDFC in here? The approval
by the province
from PLGO in here.
Town clerk.
Thank you, Chair. I'll be assisted by the engineer on the old scope as well as the new scope.
Okay, as well as the approvals.
The director planning will come in.
Okay. Civil engineer.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the clarification. So the first scope included just a 15 by 10 meters.
Where is the old scope in here?
Chair, that has not been provided. But we
Is
can
it okay
provide
that we
in due
send you
course.
back to bring it?
We can provide to Secretariat if permission is granted, Chair.
Give us the approvals. The questions were very... I don't want to ask him to repeat. Go to the next one. Where is the new scope at 6 million?
That too can be provided, Chair.
No, that cannot be allowed. We can't go like that. Town clerk,
The director engineering can come in.
director engineering.
Chair, for the new scope, it has been provided in the report.
Just refer to it.
Still under Appendix 11. So, Chair, Appendix 11, there's a progress report on the construction of Mulu Market. Then under there's an introduction. Then the scope of work involved. So the scope of work involves the construction of a modern market shelter with 250.
Just a minute, we move together. On the progress report?
Yes, Chair.
Okay.
So it involves the construction of a modern market shelter with 250 trading spaces. Then it also involves the construction of a 10,000 liter water scheme.
Okay. Now, is this the progress? On the next page? The next page of what you are just reading? Yes, Chair. That's the progress?
Yes, Chair.
Yes.
I agree with you. I had sight of this. But you know what you've been telling us? The first scope was this much and this much in terms of length and width. It will involve of this, yes, 250 trading space. What will constitute to build this 250 trading space? Do you have this? I don't want to be in MBALA. Yes, 250. So what will constitute to build the 250? That is the scope of works. No wonder you said the first one was, what were you mentioning, the numbers?
The first one was 15 by 10.
Now this one,
It's 30 by 36.
where is it? Even where you are saying, look, all that is verbal. Second, where are the minutes of the CDFC? Third, where is the approval from the province?
Civil engineer?
Chair, that was an oversight, but we can provide the information, the attachments.
You see why we are asking. We thought that you have the experience. The arrangement is a bottom-up arrangement. The people themselves will tell you what type of facility they need. If they need a health facility, they will tell you. You cannot build where they are asking for a health facility. You cannot build a 1x3 classroom block. The people say we need this. And the appraisals that were done by the planner, I want to seek the attention of the planner. When people demanded through their WDCs that we want a market, of course, that particular area, the council should have knowledge of how many marketeers would occupy what is such a market. And from there, you do the appraisals. You engage the people. You say, okay, this is what we are going to do. A 10 by 15 would suffice. At which point did you realize that the 10 by 15 would not manage? Who gave you the latest information that, no, this one is not, make it for 6 million? Town clerk.
Thank you, Chair. This project was supposed to be funded under 2023. So when we did the appraisals and everything, we advised the CDFC, I think even minutes are there, where we said the market will not meet the category of or criteria of being called a modern market. We had advised. I think even in the last appearance, we mentioned something to that effect when we talked about the termination of the cancellation of the project, or rather the non-implementation of the project. So there we were on firm grounds as management that the market which was being recommended was small. So when we whispered also to the MP, I think later he saw the sense in what we were saying, as well as the pressure from the community. And that's what necessitated the change in the scope. So just like I mentioned, at least the contractor understood, because there was that special condition in the contract.
Is it the same contractor?
No, we had to re-advertise on
So
open.
at when the first contractor was engaged at 1.5, did he do some works?
No, he did not do any works.
There was
He
no
only
commencement.
He only mobilized. No, we did not pay anything.
When you say immobilized, what do you mean?
He had the capacity to start minus getting the advance payment. So he moved on site. Yes, he was taken to site, and there were some activities that he had started. But when they were costed, they were less than 50,000.
Because initially you said there was nothing that he did. Then you are saying that there were some works worth 50,000.
In terms of payment, Chair, we had not done any initial payment to the contractor.
Honorable Mtelo, we wind up on this one?
Yes, as we are winding up, because now we are now going too deep waters. Thank you for the information. He mobilized, and you costed, and it was 50,000. Did you pay?
Chair, when we negotiated on the cancellation of the project, that's when those other things came in, like where
The question
yes,
is,
we paid, because he also mentioned on the cost of the submitting the tender, Chair.
let her flow. I'll give you chance, Mtelo. Just cool. Town clerk.
Yes, so we paid 15,000. I've been guided by the civil engineer. That is the money that is spent on the submitting of the bids. Yes, Chair.
You are changing.
So, what? Yes, I mean, town clerk and the team, please take it easy. I repeat, just be calm. First, you said council did not pay anything, but the contractor mobilized. Then you brought a 50,000 kwacha for the works that was costed for mobilizing. Now it's a 15,000 kwacha for the bid. Do you give back the bid? That's why we are saying just be calm, and you take us through smoothly. We'll be done.
I've not given you the opportunity to respond. You know, our understanding is that you are learned people. You understand these things better than us. But the moment us we know better than you, it's like a cow, a man lifts a cow instead of a cow lifting a man. How do you explain that? Do you pay for the bidding? do you pay back the bid price, the bid cost? Just that. Answer yes or no. Town clerk.
Chair, under normal circumstances, we don't pay back.
But under MBALA circumstances.
No, let me just finish. It's because this contract was given to this contractor. So meaning we had disturbed him. He had even accepted, and then later on, that's when the scope of work was changed, and we could not give the same contractor the contract because it was a high value.
So when you inconvenience someone, you pay him some. What do you call that in money, in accounting, in financing? When a contractor comes, you pay him something that you have inconvenienced you. How do you define that? What do you call it?
Maybe the DF can help me.
DF, what did you pay Mr. Nguni?
Chair, my understanding was that the contractor was inconvenienced and he was threatening to go to court for cancelling a duly signed contract. And we thought that we could not proceed to give him this other new contract. So that's why that trade-off to say, okay, for the inconvenience you have caused me, because he was actually claiming a lot of money. But after negotiations, we settled for the 15,000.
What do you call that?
I think that is the compensation, Chair.
Due to?
I think it's issues of inconvenience because he signed and he won the contract. So cancelling it without sort of maybe talking to him. Or
how do you post it in your books? You're a professional accountant. How do you post that one?
I think to me it could be issues to do with the.
You posted it. How did you post it?
I think that those were damages, Chair, because he was actually awarded the contract, and then he was actually been ready to go to court for that.
Dr. Mwanza.
Thank you, Chair. But well, I've seen on page 7 the behavior. Contract management is a bit strange. Just from the first one, the Mulu modern market, from 1.5 million to 6 million, and the circumstances that led to the change in the scope of work. Actually, it's not even a change in the scope of work. It's a totally new project altogether because of the amount involved. And the contractor mobilizes on site. A contractor, he had the right even to apply for advance payment, because when you have signed a contract, you can apply for advance payment, and you'd have been paid the 25%. And then later, you say you have no capacity because now we are putting up a steel structure, which we believe you cannot do. In the procurement, even in engineering works, was the contractor treated fairly or not? And has the same contractor has he gotten any other jobs out beside this market? For example, a 1x3 classroom block.
Speak up, Doc. We can't get you.
For example, a 1x2 classroom block or something like that. Okay, so when I'm talking about the peculiar behavior for MBALA, the rehabilitation of project number 2 on page 7, solar street lights maintenance. Here, Chair, I have a question that is applicable to project number 2 and project number 5. Project number 2 is the street lights in MBALA town. The street lights were vandalized, and the replacement was delayed due to delay in the procurement process. The street lights have since been procured, and the replacement of vandalized street lights has been done. When we go to Appendix 10, we are reminded that these street lights, in appendix number 10. Yeah, there's a report which was done on 3rd February 2026, and you can see and labeled and captioned the photos. Don't know whether they were taken from where, but this is just the last part. Says council had installed streetlights in Alani Chilemu Road. Out of these installed streetlights, a number were vandalized by the community members. Arising from the above, this council procured 32 streetlights and they had them replaced. Replacement of these streetlights is welcome. I'm just wondering, why should council use CDF funds to, because you have actually stated correctly here to say council installed, so it means it was a false account just within the council itself. You bought the street lights and installed using your engineers, and vandalized, you replaced 32 street lights. How? Why did you use the CDF instead of monies for operations? The second one, this question is applicable to the Grasshopper, rehabilitation of Grasshopper Conference Hall. There is a conference hall called Grasshopper, and it is allocated, has been, the project has every year, almost every year, funds are allocated towards the construction of this Grasshopper Conference Hall. This Grasshopper Conference Hall, is it a community project? Which WDC applied to have a council hotel or conference hall to be constructed?
Okay, Doc.
Yes, first of all,
in short, what we are asking for is the authority from CDF committee and the province for these projects. You were using a false account to replace the damaged street lights. You used the false account. Did you seek authority from the PRGO or from the CDF committee? Then this Grasshopper Hall is a council project. Who applied for the same to be rehabilitated? On, in short, the authority. It can be taken as a project, but do we have the authority from the two bodies? CS, I'm a town clerk.
Thank you, Chair. On the issue of street lights, this was an old CDF project. So even when there was need to have the street lights replaced, we had to seek authority from the CDF committee. So it was approved, and also the province approved. So this was an approved project from CDF, Chair.
How do we confirm?
We may not have included the documents, but they are there. Even the minutes are there, Chair, as well as the conveyancing later from the POGO.
Last one, Dr. Mwanza.
Why did you advertise and then give it a contract? 32 street.
Your mic should be off.
32 streetlights. If you are saying it's a CDF project, there could have been a contractor, I'm not so sure, who installed those 32, those streetlights, and then community vandalized. But the council took it upon themselves to start procuring using the CDF vote under community projects, which is not.
Okay, Dr. Mwanza, why did the council prefer to use false account instead of contracting the project? Before you respond, Honorable Mutero, ask your question. Take note of that.
This Grasshopper the contract was signed, the contractor is on site, and works have commenced. But I've gone to Appendix 12. It is cancelled. So I don't know now what we should take, whether the contractor is this, or it's only me having it, or maybe I manufactured it. Cancellation of tender for the rehabilitation of Grasshopper in Conference Hall. Are you seeing it? So is the contractor on site or you have cancelled? If you have cancelled, which contractor have you cancelled and who is on site?
Town clerk.
Thank you, Chair. I'll allow the engineer to respond, as well as the planner.
Engineer.
Thank you, Chair. So as to the reason why we used force account, because we looked at the work involved. What was vandalized was only the light on top. So the pole and the substructure, all the concrete and the steel holding the pole were all intact. Now looking at the equipment that we have and the personnel, it was more or less of a maintenance work. It was just getting the very light and installing it. So we thought it's okay and cheaper if we used our own people, because we reduced on overheads. And the other appendix that has been referred to, Chair, the cancellation of a tender. The construction of rehabilitation of Grasshopper Conference Hall tender was done, and no successful bidder was found.
That's
and as a result, there was no successful bidder, and that was just to show that it was done twice, Chair. And in the second one, we managed to...
You were a danger to the council. When there is no successful bidder, or you don't cancel, you retender. What do you call? What term do you? Director, switch off your mic.
The question is, when a tender is non-responsive, what do you do? Do you cancel or you re-advertise?
We re-advertise.
But was that cancellation?
Chair, it was a mix-up, but in the statement,
yeah, that's why we have noticed that you see the challenge that you have is you switch off your mic. The danger, why you're a danger, you start talking without knowing what you are saying. You want to say. If you are a technical person, you understand it is. I said earlier, why do we understand better than you people? You can't cancel. You retender until you get a successful bidder. It has shocked you that we are able to see a cancellation. Now, you haven't answered the question further. What happened after cancellation?
Chair, we apologize for the mix-up, but if you read the notice, it says cancelled and re-advertised. So we should have just said re-advertised and not cancelled. But it was re-advertised and the successful bidder was found.
Town Clerk, on behalf of the committee, I would like to thank you for the appearance. I'll be failing if I don't appreciate that you have really improved. This time you don't have any specific audit findings. You just have cross-cutting issues. But the devil is in the detail, as you have seen. So work on those weaknesses internally. Make sure that you do the correct thing. Yeah, you saw the issues that have been raised on the project. Let us do the correct things. And you are the only council which has not, I have not seen any evidence showing approvals of the CDF committee. You just say we shall bring the minutes. One thing that you should learn from these interactions is that when you are dealing with any query which has to do with the project, ensure that you bring the minutes that confirmed or approved that particular project. Even when it was an odd project, you say in 2023, these streetlights were approved under this minute. Comprehensive report bringing out all the small things to explain yourselves. Because like this, you give an impression that some of the things are not done properly. However, for MBALA, I will be speaking proudly that you have really done well. Looking at the odd reports that you have been submitting or doing, we salute you for that. As you go back, do better. So we thank you, Town Clerk, and your team. Continue doing your best. Mr. Nguni, don't say, in my view, this was compensation. If it's compensation, you just say, this was compensation because of the inconvenience, not in my view. Because you are the director of finance. You paid. Yeah, reimbursement. So you just have to speak with confidence. Yeah, as director, that we did this because of this. So don't fear to make those bold decisions, as long as you're able to justify. Was the first contractor was inconvenienced. Now you had to rescope to get a bigger one. The first contractor complained. So those are the observations that we had. With that said, I would like to withdraw the immunity that was earlier conferred on you. Wish you well. Please continue this manner. This is encouraging. The government is happy when they see resources being implemented in this manner. Can we ensure that that market is handed over as quickly as possible for the benefit of the people of MBALA? That's a massive project. Let the people see the benefits that their money from government has brought for them. Thank you very much. You may take leave.
Well, there you have it. MBALA Municipal Council has made its appearance before the Committee on Local Government Accounts, and they were led by their town clerk, Ms. Laura Munkanta. And the committee, through the chairperson, noted concerns on recurring weaknesses in governance, financial management, and weaknesses. And they've guided MBALA Municipal Council to strengthen internal controls, improve revenue mobilization, and comply with financial regulations. And that concludes today's live broadcast of the committees. On behalf of the entire production crew, from me, Taza Piri, we wish you a pleasant evening and have a great weekend.